Hey everyone, my name's Pupsker, and today I want to go over the top 5 beginner Warframes that I think everybody should farm up. These are just Warframes that essentially you can get pretty early on in the game. They have at least one or two very distinct uses that they excel in. And or they're just easy for a new player that doesn't have a lot of mods and doesn't have any really good builds. So simple, easy, fun to play Warframes that you can farm relatively early on in the game. So without further ado, let's get started. And if you enjoy the video, remember to subscribe. Okay, the first Warframe that I think definitely everyone should build when possible is Oberon. Oberon is very good early on in the game because of his general useful abilities. He has a heal, he has ground that inflicts damage, and he even has some damaging CC that gives some armor reduction. So all in all, he is pretty good at a lot of things. And if you don't want to die early on, he's definitely a good go-to Warframe. His main blueprint can be purchased in the market, where all of his component blueprints, that would be the chassis blueprint, neuroptic blueprint, and systems blueprint, can be dropped from an Eximus unit at a 0.38% chance for the chassis and neuroptics, and the 0.22% chance for the systems blueprint. So pretty much you will passively, just playing the game, farm up Oberon. So buy his main blueprint in the market and occasionally check your foundry to see if you can build him if you haven't already, because he's just early on a very good Warframe. He's harder to kill, easy to get a hang of, and I would definitely give him a thumbs up. Next Warframe I would recommend is Rhino. He is one of the tankiest early game Warframes you can get, for many reasons. Very simple to play, very easy to use, and very good early on. His second ability is just a straight up armor shield. So you click 2 and then you gain a shield or armor. Call it whatever you will, really. Very useful because early on you're not going to have the best mods, you're not going to have the most survivability, so it's just going to help you out a lot if you're having issues and getting killed a lot. His third ability is great because it's just straight up a damage increase ability. So it's just straight up buffs. Early on in the game, your weapons aren't going to do a lot of damage because you don't have those high level mods. You don't have any corrupted mods, any prime mods, and just generally, you don't have the good stuff yet. So this is definitely helpful if you don't quite meet the damage that you need. Last, his fourth ability is useful as well, as it's just an AoE CC ability that gives you time to kill the enemies, and if they're giving you heavy fire, you can at least hit this ability to stun them for a bit. All in all, Rhino is a very good tank Warframe that also gives you good support buffs and some CC. His first ability sucks, but let's not worry about that. So I would get him, honestly. You can acquire Rhino's main blueprint from the market, and the component blueprints are from the Jackal on Fossa Venus. So if you want to go farm him up, go there. Again, that is the Jackal on Fossa Venus. It shouldn't be the hardest farm. It's a relatively early on planet, so yeah, give it a shot, and if possible, farm up all of Rhino and build him up. Okay, the next Warframe I would definitely recommend is Frost. There's honestly only one main reason I would recommend Frost, and that is Frost's third ability, Snow Globe. So early on in the game, you're not going to have a ton of amazing Warframes that are good at defenses or just mobile defenses, and generally protecting a target if needed. So Frost is just good at that early on into the game before you have time to farm up the more time-intensive farm Warframes. So get Frost, I would recommend it. Might not be the most useful Warframe, as most players, if you're playing on publics and you end up getting matched with people, will easily be able to carry you. But if not, if you have to play solo for whatever reason, yeah, no, definitely a useful Warframe early on, so get it if possible. The main blueprint can be picked up in the market, whereas Frost can be picked up on Exta Ceres from Lieutenant Lech Krill and Captain Vor. So you kill both of them, yeah, you get a drop. You should farm up Frost, but if you're not a huge defense player or anything like that, or a mobile defense player, yeah, it's understandable if maybe you just wouldn't care, or if you don't want like a little defensive bubble. Frost does have an AoE CC damage armor reduction ability as well, freezes the enemies. Does have small ice wave. I don't ever use it because it just does some weak damage. And freeze pops his bubble and does damage. See, it shows it in the snow globe preview. So, like pretty much the last two abilities are the only one that matter early on. So snow globe, very useful, and then avalanche, useful as well, but very high energy cost. So do with that what you will. So the next Warframe I would recommend is Wukong, and just generally picking up all of the Warframes in the clan dojo because, yeah, why wouldn't you, right? But my favorite out of the bunch would be Wukong. Very useful monkey Warframe, Sun Wukong right here. The abilities follow the lore of Wukong, there's not a huge surprise of that. All of the Warframes kind of have something they follow, so... First ability, Celestial Twin. Pretty much it's a copy of Wukong. It does damage, so it's very useful early on. You just get a free U that does a ton of damage. And trust me, it's just so beautifully great. So if you use melee, your Celestial Twin will shoot, and if you're shooting, it will melee. So do whatever you will, and it will do the opposite. And if I believe you use your Primal Fury, which is an exalted weapon, 4th ultimate ability, it drains energy slowly on use. So yeah, both you and your clone monkey, Wukong, will have it equipped. So if you mod this well, it's pretty good. And all in all, it's just generally an okay exalted weapon, but it's not super overpowered. The third ability is also very good. Like all of Wukong's abilities have good use and are good early on in the game because it is just a straight up time invulnerability. So first off, if you're getting hit heavily, you can use it and just not die for X amount of seconds. And then you gain a huge armor buff depending on how much damage is taken, and you do an AoE damage based on that as well. So you're probably going to kill enemies if you take some heavy fire, you'll gain a lot of armor, and you'll pretty much just be kind of a badass. Last but not least, yeah, I know we're going out of order here, is Cloudwalker. This ability is sick for mobility. Essentially, you turn into a cloud, kind of like, you know, the Nimbus, Sun Wukong's little cloud. I don't know if it's called Nimbus exactly, but yeah, you go fast as fuck, boy, and then when you jump out of the cloud, you stun the enemies. So that's the fun part about this one. It also heals you, but I'm all in it for the stun, let's be honest. And I just love it, would recommend it 10 out of 10. I have a lot of fun playing Wukong, and it's honestly one of my favorite Warframes right now, purely because of the fun mobility and the clear just lack of caring when running Wukong, because god, you're so good at surviving and doing damage. And that I love about Wukong. So I mentioned this before, but I'm gonna say it again, Wukong can be picked up in your clan, specifically from the Tenno lab in your clan dojo. So if you're not in a clan, I would very much recommend getting in one as early as possible into the game, because the labs and all of the other areas in the clan unlock great weapons, warframes, etc. So do that if you want a huge boost early game and a lot of options. I can't remember if the blueprint, like the main blueprint itself, is still purchased from the market, but I think it's purchased from the Tenno lab. But if not, oh well, there you go. It's not hard to go to the market, okay? Let's be honest here. Okay, last but not least is Loki. I recommend Loki for a very early on stealth frame. If you need spy missions or just to be stealth in general, Loki's probably the fastest and earliest one you can pick up. The actual planet you get Loki from will take a little bit to get to, but again, I do believe it's one of the first stealth frames that can quickly be farmed that you can actually get. I essentially recommend getting Loki just for the second ability mainly. It's just a stealth, okay? You just stay stealth. So you just build it for as much duration as possible and you can stay stealth for a very long time. But yeah, no, legitimately the only reason I would end up recommending Loki is for the stealth early on, because it's just so useful. There are, like, Loki's other abilities are useful, but compared to stealth, they're just kind of awful. Because if no one can see you, no one can shoot you, no one can kill you, and a lot of people like a certain type of stealth playstyle, so Loki is where it's at. Loki's main blueprint can be picked up from the market, while all of the component blueprints, chassis and optic systems, can be picked up from the Hyena pack on Pupsker Neptune. I might be saying that wrong, but it's it's pretty much Samantha. Yeah, no, God, it's just Samantha Neptune. I love that. I try to always pronounce possibly silent letters, but who knows? I'm not the best at this. So, pick up Loki at Samantha Neptune. That's P Samantha Neptune. That better be a silent P, or I swear to God. So, yeah, those are the 5 early Warframes I would recommend for their various uses. I tried to at least think of ones that have different uses. So, hey, if you have other Warframes you think you should pick up very early on in the game, let me know. If you like any of the other clan Warframes specifically more than Wukong, let me know. But honestly, there are a ton of Warframes you can get, so pick them all up as soon as possible. If you can, get a couple Warframe slots and spend platinum on that, hopefully you can. If not, learn how to trade, and then hopefully you can. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked it, remember to like it. If you would like to subscribe, I'd appreciate that. Dislike the video if you dislike it. You can check out some of my other videos, and I should hopefully stream in a day or two. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.